Hello everyone, my name is Roy Oshrov and I'm back with a second short movie about some of the stuff you can do with the Typemock, which I really like. The next feature that I want to show is how to extend your current test framework using the Typemock Decorator attribute. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a special attribute to an existing test so that it can be repeated several times. Just like you can write an NUnit add-in to do the same, this is going to be much simpler and will work throughout any test framework, whether it's MbUnit, CSUnit, NUnit, and so on and so on. So what I want to be able to do is to have a repeat and then number of times as an attribute, and this will be repeated. Now if I just run the test right now, I'm writing to the console one time. Now the way you extend your test framework with Typemock is by using a decorator attribute. So I'm going to create a simple class here, and this class is going to be my repeat attribute. The next thing I need to do is to inherit from the decorator attribute. So decorator attribute, which is part of Typemock. So I have a reference to Typemock for .NET 2.0. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to implement one simple method called the execute. And this is where you actually override the test method execution. This actually happens after the setup and before the teardown. And what I want to do first is to have the number of times saved. So I'm going to have int times equals 1 by default. I'm going to add that into a constructor, and I'm using ReSharper to generate this. The constructor will take the amount of times to run, and here I'm going to have a simple for loop to number of times, and to execute the actual decorated method I just call this .call decorated method. Now by default, if I call the call decorated method inside a decorator attribute, the original method will not be called later. If I want to override the call altogether and not even call it once, I can say this don't call decorated method, and by that the method will not even be called. I can call it on different thread, whatever. But for now, this should do. The only thing left is to return something, and usually you return a value, but you can just return null if this doesn't matter to you. The return value is helpful if you have multiple decorator attributes. So you want to return some sort of value from the attribute execution so that other attributes can take notice and do something about it. But for now, if you just have one attribute, you can just return null and everything should just be okay. So now I have this simple repeat attribute, and usually what you would do is you also have an attribute usage on it that says you can only do it on a method. And now if I want to use this, I just put a repeat times 3 and run the test. And this time it was executed 3 times. So that's how easy it is to extend your framework with stuff like the Typemock decorator attribute. My name is Roy Oshrov, and you're welcome to see more at typemock.com, visit our forums, or read our blog, our new blog at typemock.blogspot.com. And for more information about my blog, you can go to iserializable.com. Cheers.